today, I have many things that I should be doing, but instead of doing any of those things, I'm going to be critiquing people's art on Reddit. Because I am about to graduate with my BFA, December 2025. That is this year as of recording. So that means I know everything about art now. You should listen to me. You're wrong. We are going to be visiting the subreddits Art Advice, Art Crit, Art Critique, Art Help, I believe is one of them. Learn Art, Learn to Draw. I think that's all of them. Basically, if you don't know, people post their art in these places and they're looking for advice. And I have been going through in my personal time every once in a while and finding pieces to critique, and I've been trying to actually give advice on all the ones that I can, that I feel like I can say something helpful. I want to showcase that today because I really feel like anyone can draw, and these people in these subreddits are actively trying to learn to draw. So why not give them some advice and try and help them out? Okay, let's start with r/artcrit. See what's in there. Very beautiful watercolor, it looks like. Some of these are already really good, and they also already have a lot of comments, so it seems like they've already gotten a lot of feedback. I try to find the ones that have not really gotten a lot of feedback. Maybe people just don't know what to say or don't know where to begin. So that is where I want to give my advice. Here's one with one comment. Here is the art. Ooh, pretty colors, okay. User Anxious Breakfast 529 says, does the thicker line art on the areas closer to the audience distract from the rest of the character? If so, advice on how to fix it, please. I don't think they're distracting at all. I think it's great, actually. I really like the line work. It looks very clean. Full screen version. Very cute. I like it. And then with the colors, I like this as well. I think the thicker line art towards the audience is a good idea, actually. Oh, it's just the mod comment. Okay, so there's no comments on here. So I wanted to try this thing where I saw the line art gets thicker/darker the closer it is to the audience as a way to create perspective. I've been experimenting with things a lot lately, trying to improve, but I may not have done it all that well and it distracts from the rest of the character, and how I would fix it. I don't really want to have to redo it, but if it's the best solution, then I will. I've been staring at this for like 2 days straight, so my judgment may be kind of messed up. Any other tips in improving the line art, choosing better colors, anatomy, etc. are welcome. Also need ideas on how to color shoes. Okay, first of all, I want to say, I think the line art looks great the way it is. I think it was a good decision to make it thicker as you get closer to the audience. It does not distract me. I really like the colors they have started in the shirt. They also wanted advice on how to color the shoes or the roller skates. I'm not really sure, but I'm just gonna say I like the color explorations you have started doing. It feels like a pastel take on the 90s era print shirt. Maybe you could use a similar color scheme for the skates. Yep, I think that's about all I have to say, so now I'm just gonna add, great job so far. Hope that helps. Okay, next one. Here is one from 2 hours ago. OP is Easy Scientist 6203. Before and after, and there's only one comment. Here, let's view it in full screen. Okay. Oh. I noticed the stars got a lot better in the after version. That's very nice. It almost feels like the seasons changed. Like, this feels fresh, like spring, but it does not look like it's, you know, nighttime. Here it kind of looks almost like fall. I think there's still the issue of, and this can be really difficult, this bottom part still feels like we're looking at it in the daytime or maybe sunset, but the sky is clearly nighttime, very much nighttime, enough that you can even see a bit of the arm of the Milky Way, perhaps. And a close-up of the brushstrokes down here. Okay. I think I have some feedback I can give on this. The only comment is the auto mod. What are your thoughts on this painting? It is a finished piece of mine. Great change between the two. I can tell you added a lot to the night sky. What you did there is very successful. It looks like an authentic representation of a clear night sky where you can make out even the Milky Way. Okay, I read that a bit wrong, but you get the point. One of the things I've learned in my time in art school is when critiquing things, we try to say what is successful, like what is working, and what isn't, rather than I like it or this is good, because it creates more informative feedback that the artist can actually use to improve the piece or to make improvements in future work. The mountains are fine. They're doing what they need to do. I think the foreground is less successful. Although it looks good, it does not look like it matches the rest of the nighttime scene. The colors are telling me this is daytime or sunset maybe. What I would have changed: made the colors and shadows more representative of nighttime, or created a spotlight effect to show artificial illumination. Unless your intention was to make it look that way, in which case, great job. But to me, it looks like you're trying to paint a nighttime scene with this field and this beautiful tree. To me, this doesn't look like nighttime. So I feel like it doesn't fit with the rest of like the beautiful night sky. Of course, I gotta add my cute little send off at the end. Looks awesome. Hope this helps. And I want to try and remember to upvote these after I've given some feedback. Okay, let's move on to a different subreddit. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do all these right now. Let's go to Art Help. Art Critique, I think, tends to have more like finished pieces. In Art Help, I feel like I tend to find more like amateur-ish drawings or like work in progress stuff where they're trying to like figure it out. So let's see what we can find in here. Here is one that I think is a challenging one to give feedback on. The OP is Lamentwell5. How can I improve the character on the right? So I can see the two characters here, and then this character is what they want feedback on. The finalist. Okay, 0 comments. I don't always give feedback on these because I find that it's generally the same advice that I'm giving, but I tend to start with general feedback about how you're sketching, because that does play into when you're drawing a figure. It's better to sketch light so that you can kind of figure all this out, like where the limbs go and all that. I can see all the erase lines, obviously, and I can also tell they're drawing very hard, very jagged, and it's very, like, strong, you know? But that does make it so that it's really hard to change anything. In fact, they want feedback on how to improve this character, but honestly, at this point, I would just redraw the whole thing if it were me, because this looks like it's going to be really hard to work with. I'm going to be seeing those lines, those erase lines the whole time, and I just don't really have room to change things. So let's try to articulate my thoughts in a brief message. Okay. In general, it would help a lot for you to sketch lighter and looser. I like how the poses are coming along so far, but it will be difficult to make the necessary changes to improve this drawing because you are drawing so hard with your pencil. As for improving the character on the right, I think you should make the waist and hips thicker, like the same width as the shoulders. I also think you should set the character's face more inside the helmet rather than having the skin lined up with where the helmet is. Like put the edge right here. Or maybe bring the helmet out a little bit. And articulate the hands. I know it's difficult, but it would improve the drawing a lot. So yeah, I think I'm happy with what I've said here. The other thing about when you're drawing this hard and you're still trying to make changes is you get grooves in your paper. So it can actually physically be difficult to move where your lines are. So anyway, I think this is a good start so far. Obviously they're still learning, so be nice. Okay, moving on. I really love creepy art. I love creepy art. The vibes here are immaculate. I really love this character. This character looks very cool. I think they have enough feedback. The people in the comments have already said what I would have said. Okay. I wasn't sure if I would be able to give feedback on this post because they're feeling a bit stuck, and honestly, I think I'm feeling a bit stuck as well. So this is from OP Prestigious Fox 1172. Just played around with things, feeling a bit stuck now. And then this is the artwork. I'm not clear on what it is meant to be. I think the thing that probably everyone is thinking here is, I don't really know what advice to give to this. And here's why. You are feeling a bit stuck, and I think I am feeling stuck as well. I'm not sure what your intentions are with the piece. It looks like it might be a surreal landscape of some sort. I would recommend adding details to clarify what things are meant to be, and to add depth to the scene would help. I mean, this is clearly an experimental sort of piece. As they said, they were saying they were just playing around with things, and now they're feeling stuck. And I think it's a great exploration. I can see some sort of thought process here. It almost looks like a dreamscape with like some sort of tiles. And it obviously does look like it's unfinished and like it needs some more work. In general, it just looks unfinished. Which that isn't a bad thing, but I think my advice right now is to just add some more details to clarify what things are. Because right now, looking at this piece, I'm not really sure what to make of it, to be honest. Like, you have the tiles, and then you have, like, almost like a road over here. I don't know. I'm just not really sure what to make of it right now. I do feel like even just interpreting how I feel looking at the piece might help them feel understood, and might even help them understand why they're feeling so stuck. Because I can tell they sort of just did some things, and they made this orange thing, and then they drew those boxes on the ground or whatever, and now they're kind of looking at it like, what am I doing here? And I just feel the same way. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what is this meant to be? I don't know. So I'm literally just gonna say that, and I mean, they had no feedback before, so even this, just like spelling out how I feel, I do feel like is better than not saying anything at all. Let's keep going, shall we? Okay, here's one with no comments. Let's see if we can do anything here. Angel Dust Simp 47. I love the name. How can I improve my Hell of a Boss Hellhound OC? Okay. The character, of course. And then they have their little info about it. Let's read. Bianca Bia Lupin. Gender, cis-femme, lesbian, PDA. Does that mean public displays of affection? Yes? Okay. Age 22. Okay, so I'm 21. July 13th, 1997. Hellhound. Emo. Metal. Appearance. Blah blah blah. Star sign Sagittarius. My partner's Sagittarius. Ruling planet. I don't really know what that means. I don't really do astrology stuff personally. Eyes, red and black hair. Element fire. Secret crush, Luna. Love that. Tragic backstory. And there's just this tiny little box for the tragic backstory. Oh my gosh, and I can barely read it. Held captive and experimented on by I don't really know what that says. Favorite phrase, fuck off. Sounds a lot like my partner, actually. Okay. First of all, I love the personality of this character. They remind me a lot of my partner, who is a punk dude. Style advice. How can I improve my Hell of a Boss Hellhound OC? Well, Right now this is just a sketch, so first of all, making it more finished, I believe, would improve it. I think there is just so much to improve on this. I almost have too many things to say here. I know this is just a sketch, so in general, you just need to keep working on it. Adding line work, colors, and making it appear more finished would help a lot. Personally, I love these kind of like quick character overview thingies. Like, they're definitely very like DeviantArt OC sort of thing, but I think they're cute. They're kind of a vibe. I just want to see it not written in pencil. Like, I would love to see this drawn out neatly and made better. I'm almost commenting on everything but the character itself at this point, so let's add some feedback actually about the character. It's like they have the crossed arms and the grumpy face and the tense shoulders. And you can't tell me what to do, Dad. So they're like really uptight and grumpy. Also, they have this whole thing, but they didn't put what pronouns. I'm assuming she, her, but I guess that could be added. I like the silhouette of the character. The facial expression, crossed arms, and tense shoulders tell me they are stubborn and grumpy. Obviously, the style tells me they are rebellious. I don't know. I think in general, my feedback is that this is good. It just needs to be more finished. There's so many things that I feel like you could improve. Okay, let's see if I'm coherent in my response. I have a lot to say about this piece. First of all, I love the personality of this character. They remind me a lot of my partner, who is a punk dude. Really, I think the design is great, but at the same time, there is everything to improve about this drawing. I would love to see it in full color. I like the silhouette of the character. The facial expression, crossed arms, and tense shoulders tell me they are stubborn and grumpy. Obviously, the style tells me they are rebellious, and it would be informative and interesting to see them posed in context. For example, how they would act at a party, spray painting something, or maybe in an embarrassing situation, like, let's change. For example, how they would act in a crowd, spray painting something, or maybe in an embarrassing situation they would despise, like being forced to attend a children's birthday party or something. I know this is just a sketch, so in general, you just need to keep working on it. Adding line work, colors, and making it appear more finished would help a lot. Additionally, you should draw or type out the character info to be more legible, and maybe even add little symbols and make design choices that lend to the aesthetics and vibes of the character. You could also add what pronouns they use. I'm assuming she, her. Hope this helps. I think that's coherent, right? Okay. I'm moving on now. I really do love Hell of a Boss, specifically. Hazbin Hotel, it's great. There's a lot to say about it. Got ruined by Amazon. Hell of a Boss is where it's at, though. That's my opinion. Okay. Let's see. Let's maybe do one or two more, and then I think I want to do something else. Let's go visit Learn Art or Learn to Draw. Let's see what Learn Art has to offer. So I bet these are more like art students. I mean, there's probably still is a lot of self-taught as well, but these are definitely people that are trying to like learn art techniques. Great. Wow. 89 upvotes, but 0 comments? There's no comments. Okay. My whole thing is that I'm trying to give feedback on the ones that seem to be hard to give feedback on, so let's make this quick. Obviously, it has a ton of upvotes. I'll leave mine as well. The sketch looks good. I mean, let's just start with that. The sketch looks good. The anatomy looks accurate. And the body looks realistic. I would improve this drawing by making the shading smoother, although the sketchy lines have their own look to them that I think is just fine too. The way the figure is cut off at the top is successful, making the drawing look clean and intentional. However, the bottom has the opposite effect. The left leg looks like it could be folded over under the model, and the right leg sort of just disappears. Where did it go? The shape of the right knee is not helping me understand the form. It is instead making the leg look like it was pinched off. I think you should either clarify these issues or create a clean cutoff like you did for the top. Great work. Boom. Feedback. This is digital? I just did that whole critique thinking this was a pencil drawing. That's great. Okay, let's add that real quick. I thought this was a traditional drawing, TBH. One more. Let's say one more and then I'm done after this. That was an interesting one, actually. I feel like I was still able to leave some interesting feedback, even though this is already a great drawing. Oh, and I forgot to say the OP, which is Robin Dillon. Cool. Good stuff. Okay. Let's do this one. I always feel, with some of these, I feel initially intimidated, like, I don't really know what to say about this, I don't have any feedback, I don't know what to say. But the thing is, there is things to improve here, and I can see that. So I just need to think for a moment and articulate those thoughts. So, this is from BHman888. It just says, feedback appreciated. And here is the work. It definitely looks evocative of the classic comic style. I can tell it's sort of a Batman character or Batwoman, you know, whatever. And I didn't even notice, but there's these like action lines here that I couldn't even see initially. Okay, let's start typing before I get too lost in my thoughts. First of all, there is one comment that seems to provide some helpful feedback, so I'll try not to say what they've already said. This is from Iron Beers. The cape and hair mostly hanging in a resting position doesn't help sell the leaping pose. I'd agree with that. I'd also suggest the stylized snow doesn't blend well with the otherwise cartoon aesthetic, but it's okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I don't think the snow looks that good. It's kind of distracting, but I don't really know how to improve it, so I wasn't going to comment on that personally. The spotlight effect shouldn't be brightening the sky behind her, just her and the building on the lower half of the circle. Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that specifically, but I don't think the spotlighting effect is doing what it needs to do here. I'm not really sure what the intention was with that. General craftsmanship could be improved. The eyes, hair, and bat symbol are all good examples of roughly drawn lines. I'd agree with that as well. It does look very rough. It's fine. So, let's add some feedback that they did not. In general, I think this is a great drawing. It is evocative of the classic comic book style. I can tell you were exploring harsh shapes in your shadows, which I think is successful. The pose looks pretty good, although both the feet/calves look too small. I know the back left foot is foreshortened, so that can be difficult to do successfully, but it still looks too small. I would change the angle of the calf lines or make it appear thicker towards the knee. So I'm talking about this right here. I agree with the previous comment. The spotlight effect is confusing and unsuccessful. I didn't even notice the action lines until closer inspection. I think the action lines are a great idea, but this technique is not working. I really like the face. The face looks really good. And the fingers. Even this side where it almost looks a little confusing. But I don't think you necessarily have to articulate every finger. I actually kind of appreciate this, the way that they chose to do it. Here, let's add that to the first part where I'm talking about what is working. I just added, I like how you drew the face and fingers. Those parts of the drawing are working very well. Can we zoom? Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. The only thing I would change here is I didn't even notice these little, like, hatch marks on the lip. Like, it is doing what it needs to do, but they're too small and too tight. Like, I can tell they obviously, when they drew this, they had zoomed in really, really big, and they did all these lines, and then it's posted on Reddit, and I didn't even know they were there. It just kind of looks like it's this darker maroon color. I don't think the hatch marks on the top of the lip are necessary. I could barely see them anyway. I would just make the top part of the lip the darker maroon color like you have in the hair. So like this dark color. Okay, and I think that is everything I want to say. Okay, there it is. All done. Thank you for watching my video. I really enjoy doing this every once in a while. It can be kind of draining, honestly, but this is what I do in school. Like, we are in a classroom, we're all artists, and we're all looking at each other's work and telling each other how we can improve. So I've actually gotten very good at doing this kind of thing, and I think it is great to share that knowledge a little bit. The biggest thing I notice in Reddit comments providing feedback is these things look good, these things look bad, maybe change some things. But I think it really helps to point out how I feel looking at the drawing, or these things are working very well, these things are not working very well, this is making me feel confused, or this is making me understand the subject better. I think all of those things are very helpful to include when giving feedback, and I think it is very informative. So, anyway, that's all I have to say for right now. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in keeping up with what I do, follow my Instagram. I am most active on there. I post a lot on there, actually. I am graduating this year, so maybe I'll have some more free time after that, because I won't be in school anymore. I'm like genuinely so excited. Okay, enough rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!